Kia ora guys, gals, and Legionnaires. Rycon here, coming at you with a celebration video. One that we don't do very often. It's actually been a long time since I've made an announcement video, or at the very least a celebration or recognition of us reaching a milestone. And that milestone this time is 60,000 Legionnaires. And what's really surprised me over the years is that as this community, as this family has grown, it hasn't become watered down. We're stronger than ever right now. YouTube for me has never been about chasing those milestones, chasing those numbers, but it nevertheless impresses me when we do hit those milestones that we don't have toxicity. We have a Discord channel full of creative people, and in the comments I see stories that are written to accompany episodes. As a Legion, you're not just viewers, you're also storytellers yourselves, and that's why I feel privileged to have the community that I have, because we can interact, because we can work together. And so I wanted to create this video today to say thank you to all of you. Some of you have been here since the very start. We're almost at 5 years now. That's half a decade, which is kind of wild when I think about it. We've got over 1,500 videos on the channel now. A lot of things have happened since I started this experiment. And today I want to fulfill a promise I made a while back. Some of you may not know, but at the beginning of the year, myself and my lovely wife Charlotte moved into a new apartment. That's when I didn't have internet for a long time and things were looking dire, but in the end it turned out well, and now thankfully most of our boxes are gone and we are pretty well settled in, so the office tour is happening today. But before we go any further, before we begin this tour, I want to take you on a little bit of a trip down memory lane. So let's do it. Now, who is that guy? That was a long time ago. At the end of my first year on YouTube in 2013, Let's go have a listen.
Hey everyone, Rycon here. Welcome to my backyard. It's good to see you all after what was a relatively long Christmas break for myself. Firstly, I'd like to thank all the new subscribers that have joined the channel over the Christmas and New Year period.
And so there we go, a little bit of a glimpse into the past. Rycon from, well, 4-5 years ago, but everything that I was thinking, everything that I was trying to do on YouTube back then is still the same now. Trying to tell stories that haven't been told. Trying to manipulate and change games to tell something completely different and new. But that's not what we're here for today. I've been promising this tour for a long time, and so the office tour shall commence. And so we begin in the lounge, the living space where we do living things. See, this is what I was talking about. Sometimes you don't have space for things. There are things there that, well, we don't really know where to put them yet. We're getting there. We're getting there. But over here, the living space continues, and this is actually where we film Zealand. So I'm tucked in that corner over there with the TV to the side for them to be able to see what's kind of going on, what they're doing. And yeah, this is where the gang hangs out on the couch, so you might actually recognize some elements of it. And well, here's a fantastic mirror for getting ready for doing things like this. Yes, of course. Over here we have our bookshelf where the majority of our books are. Some are in storage at the moment. I've got the all-important Walking Dead comics down there, still collecting them. I haven't got a full collection yet, but it's a slow process. You know, you just kind of get them bit by bit as the months go on. Over here is an incredibly impressive shoe rack. This is Charlotte's pride and joy, and it's the first thing that you see when you walk into the house as well, so it creates like an interesting talking point, I guess you could say. And over here is the kitchen with very important and necessary things up there, and over here we have the all-important coffee, which is my lifeblood that keeps me alive and breathing throughout the day. But yeah, it's a stock standard little kitchen. The stainless steel makes it really nice and easy to keep everything clean, but yeah, there you go, it's a kitchen. Onwards and upwards to the office. Now this is where essentially everything happens. Over there is the bathroom and the bedroom. They're not important, they're not interesting, but this is the office. And so it's taken me a good long while to get things in a position where I'm happy with them in here, but it's still an ongoing process. It's something that's always going to be changing, I think, and it's still a long way off being complete, but here we go. And so this is the little cubby hole where I do all of my work. Over here I have myself a scar from the YouTube space in Toronto, which I won for answering some questions right. I actually really miss this space. We don't have anything like it in New Zealand, and it's something that I'd love to see happen. However, I think we're probably quite a few years off that happening. Before I dive into the actual workspace itself, I'll show you around the rest of the room. Essentially, more things that we don't really have places for yet. Suitcases, etc. Things where, yeah, you've got limited storage space in an apartment, so we do what we can with what we got. Over here I have my shrine. I guess you could call it a shrine to pretty much everything and anything. There is no organized design to anything here at all. This is just my stuff, put wherever there was space for it. Now down here is where I actually keep my PC. That there is just a case. This is all my video equipment as well, and obviously, well, these are storage boxes. Yeah, we still need to get rid of those. But as you can see, I do keep my PC on this side. So essentially, the reason I do that is just to insulate the sound a little bit more, because this sucker can get a little noisy when I'm running Skyrim and Fallout and other things. And as you can see, there's a fair bit of dust in here at the moment. So actually, while there's quite a bit of dust, yeah, you need a bit of a spring clean. But jumping around the other side to where things actually happen, you can see that I've got my green screen set up here. Now I just have these on 3M hooks that go all the way around. It probably needs to extend out a little bit more this way because I don't shoot back that way as much, which is kind of unfortunate, but what can you do? But this is the computer setup itself. So you'll see I've got these office dividers, which is what I'm using to essentially mount everything on. Sound panels all the way up here, and actually sound panels in all the corners of the room as well. And I don't know if you'll notice a difference from my microphone that I'm actually wearing on me at the moment, but even when we just walk into this space, the reverb becomes a hell of a lot less than it is out there. Now, this material up here, this is what we'd call a moving blanket in New Zealand. They're really cheap to get, and essentially what that allows me to do is use these hooks here to hook another moving sheet up to these ones here. And so essentially what they will end up doing is creating a sound tent of sorts. So this entire area gets sealed off and there's no noise whatsoever. So it just absorbs all of that reverb. And I'm noticing it now, like even when I walk in here, it's a hell of a lot better. I am just gonna wanna get more sound panels and put them on the ceiling just to make it a little bit better. I do have a smoke alarm in here, but it's not like Canada. They don't talk to me here. It's just a regular smoke alarm, so what can you do? So in terms of the microphones, this microphone you've already been introduced to before. I have done a bit of a tour with my equipment in the past. A lot of it hasn't changed. Pretty much all of it is exactly the same, except this microphone arm is a lot nicer than the one that I used to have, and it just folds down nicely in front here. Now I'd like to take you on another little voyage down memory lane.
For me. And the second part of that question about the microphone, this is the microphone here. So it's a Behringer CU, and as you can see, I just have it rubber band tied to a light stand. So that's how we do things here in New Zealand when we don't have a proper stand to go with. We just rubber band the microphone onto a light stand, and that works just as well.
Now my ethos has never changed. Never let gear or the lack thereof stop you from telling the stories that you want to be telling. So often I see threads on Reddit about recommended starting equipment, and it's always really top of the line gear. And it just isn't needed. When I started doing this, before I even had the rubber band lighting stand contraption, I was just using my headset mic. Now, it doesn't sound anywhere near as good as it does later on, but it's definitely passable. With better editing techniques, the very early stages of Logan's Tale would have been much more passable. It is very quiet in comparison, but just knowing a little bit more about how things balance out on YouTube now makes a difference. So really, that was knowledge, not lack of equipment, that was making things quieter. So never let not having equipment stop you from telling those stories. Sometimes, yes, you are going to be limited by processing speed and what your graphics card is capable of, but you work within those confines to try and create something awesome. We're always limited by games when we're role-playing. There are always things that I want to do that I just can't. I push Skyrim, I push Fallout, I push all these other games as far as they can go to their breaking point to try and achieve what I want it to be in the story. There are so many times where I wish I could just animate the entire thing, and then I kind of find myself asking, like, do I want to go in that direction? And I don't. I don't want to be making machinimas I think what I'm doing here with these role plays is what I really enjoy doing, and I've learned that process. I've learned because I've tried to do animated machinimas, and they just burn me out. I'll be honest, they burn me out. I don't find them creatively satisfying. For me personally, it's not the kind of stories, not the kind of tales that I want to be telling. But anyway, that's me kind of rambling there for a little bit and moving away from the point. Just going back to that point, don't let gear stop you. If you do want to tell stories, if you do want to make things on YouTube, then just make them. And I wish I had some other form of advice that I could give you, something that I've learned throughout these years that I could pass on. But the main thing that sticks with me always is that if you are wanting to do anything like this, make sure first and foremost that you're doing it for the right reasons. Set your goals, keep to those goals, but make sure that those goals are actually going to make you happy, and they're not someone else's goals that you think you should be trying to chase, that you should be trying to achieve. There's this great song from a one-time Australian street performer who's now an incredible DJ and music producer by the name of Dub FX. The song in question is called Made, and there is a lyric in it that has always stood out to me. I ain't gonna spend my time wondering why I've never made it. No, I've already made it. And that, I obviously have just spoken it like an idiot, but that has always stuck with me. And that's something that I've felt in my heart for the longest time with this channel. It's so easy to get trapped in these lofty goals with YouTube. But at the end of the day, I feel like I've already made it. And the reason is because of all of you out there. I've been able to tell some stories now for years, going on 4 to 5 years. And there are some of you who have been there from the very start that are still eagerly awaiting those episodes. And that for me is making it. It could just be 10 of you, or it could be 60,000. But at the end of the day, you're choosing to spend your time here. And that means a hell of a lot to me. There's more content now on YouTube than ever before, but being able to see the same names pop up in the comments, being able to have those interactions, be able to share those stories with the same people, that's why I think I've already made it. And so that's going to wrap us up for today's video, for this celebration. Now, if you were wanting something to be a little bit more behind the scenes, if you look up in the corner, I'm not sure what corner it's going to be in at this stage because this likes to flop things around, but if you have a look at the top, there is going to be a link through to my behind the scenes of Skyrim, which is much more in depth upon like the equipment that I use and my editing process. Not much has changed since then. I have streamlined some things. We might be due another one soon, and if that's something that you're interested in, if you'd like to see my process, let me know in the comments below. I've been Rycon. You have all been awesome, all 60,000 of you. And until next time, stay tuned.
So it'll be interesting to see where the series goes and where the character ends up. So stay tuned, and I hope to see you all again soon. Thanks.